Welcome to Fireside Chat 6, the rest of the story. I've had several people this week asking me, I'm anxious to hear the rest of the story. What is it? So, my format for these Fireside Chats is to share a real-life story and generally one lesson with each story. This one may have two. But as I told you, when I broke the engagement, went off to finish my education, Frank went to Vietnam. And Vietnam was, for a career soldier, they're trained to fight. Although they were not trained for that sort of jungle warfare. And so he came into some really bad times over there. I knew him well. I probably knew him as well as any living individual did. And when my mom contacted me and told me that Frank was having some real problems and needed some support, she was writing a letter, and I decided I would do the same. When I broke the engagement, I told you he still says I threw him under the bus, but that was not at all the purpose. And he got angry because he wanted to go and get married. He was young, he was immature, and so he got upset. And so the first lesson I want to share with you is, as he began to think my parents had influenced my decision and to just react in ways that, were obvious that he didn't understand what was behind my decision, he just acted like he didn't care. He just sort of backed away and tucked his anger inside and didn't really let me know how hurt he was, how disappointed he was. He just acted like he didn't care. But I was equally immature and inexperienced, and I read that as he didn't care. So I went off to college. I'd never been away from home before. I'd gone to community college, had a scholarship for 2 years there that paid my way. And so I got off, into this whole new world, living in an off-campus dormitory. And I made some bad decisions that over time did not serve me well. And Frank went through some terrible trauma in Vietnam that, he was not at all prepared for or trained for. And so I really believe that there is a larger purpose in all of the things that happen to us, whether they're positive or negative. And in this case, I really feel like it was a God-ordained event that took place that caused me to reach back to Frank, because I knew his character. I knew his heart. I knew he believed that his purpose and his mission in life was to serve this nation as an Army Ranger. And so I knew that the events that were occurring in Vietnam were not correct, or they were not a true depiction of his real way of being, his way of just who he was. So I felt compelled to write. And that was the catalyst for him reaching back to me. At that point, he was finally honest about how he felt and how much, he had missed me in his life and vice versa. So when he came back from Vietnam and we saw each other again, like I told you, it was akin to magic. He had learned a lot along the way. I had learned a lot along the way, both positive, both negative. But the message of this story is really, life is short, and we need to make decisions. We need to let people know that we love, how much we genuinely care about them. Because sometimes our behavior doesn't reflect our true feelings. And we need to be aligned with our true feelings, and not afraid to let others know that we do love them and how much we care about them. And if things don't go our way, or decisions are made that are not, what we want at the time for ourselves, we really need to step back from that, consider, evaluate, and still be honest about what's in our heart, because it's what's in our heart that really matters. The negative events for Frank came out okay, and he came back from Vietnam. He asked to go teach at the Army Ranger Camp in Dahlonega, Georgia, and the military agreed to place him there. And so that's where we began our life together as husband and wife. We got married the same year he came back from Vietnam in 1970, and his chaplain over there Chaplain Lloyd Mathis had literally saved his life. I have a blog post about Chaplain Mathis. I'll put the link with this video. I would suggest you read it. But he was incredible, and he stepped forward. There are times in our lives when we need people to step forward and be there for us, to be our mentor, to care, to do what they can to help us get through the hard times. And that's what Chaplain Mathis did for Frank. He's still a friend of ours today. He married one of our sons. He's just an amazing gentleman and man of God. And he literally saved Frank's life there. But, we believe, as we look back, and sometimes, we live life forward, but we understand it looking backward. And we believe that these events occurred to help us to wake up to the fact how deep and wide and real was our love, and that the rest of our lives we needed to recommit to each other and live life together, build a family, and move forward. Was it always easy? No. Did we still have hard times? Yes, people do. But we've made it through. It takes commitment. It takes dogged determination at times, but it's worth it. It gets sweeter as the years go by. And we are now in year 55 and enjoying life, enjoying each other, enjoying our family. And I don't think a day goes by that we have a thing called our gratitude journal that we do every day. We begin our day together with that. That has been an amazing experience, a bonding experience. And the next video, I'll share that practice with you. It's something I recommend for any couple considering getting married, anyone building a family. It is a way to learn to be grateful for even the little, ordinary, everyday things. So cheers. I'll see you next week. And thanks for joining me.